And before we totally start, I'd like to welcome you on the traditional territories of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam nations on which the Bcit campuses sit on. So always really, I'm very grateful to be able to work on these territories. I'm Caroline Depaty, the the Associate Dean for Business Administration. And I'll be hosting this event along with Natalie Anderson, who is an intern in our marketing department. So thank you, Natalie, for joining us today. So today our topic is going to be really interesting. I'll just introduce the topic in a second. But before I do that, if you have questions as we go through, you can put them in the Q&A, which should be a button that's found at the bottom of your screen. And today's session, maybe I'll introduce our guests first before talking this session. So we have two guests today, Kevin Wainwright. Maybe Kevin, you can give us a little wave. There's Kevin. Kevin's the AD for the Department of Broadcast and Media. And Kevin's been at Bcit for over 25 years. So he knows a lot. So if you have any questions, either about what he's going to talk about today or anything at Bcit, I think he's probably our most knowledgeable person in our whole school of business and media. So if you have questions, he's the guy to ask. We also have Stephanie, who's going to be joining us today. Stephanie's a grad from the financial management program or degree, is it, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. And she just graduated, so thank you. Stephanie's been working on a project, a spot that we'll introduce today. The session today is about learning, about some technology we're going to be using, the Learning Hub, maybe a little bit on Bongo, a little bit on Zoom, and Stephanie's going to introduce the spot, which is a tool that are specifically social media tool that are specifically geared towards students. I'm not sure if I said that right, but Stephanie will go through that. So my phone is ringing here, I'll turn that off. So I think that's about it with starting. Just before we start, I do want to say that next week's session is about the library and academic integrity. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end, but if you have to leave us halfway, please join us again next week. Natalie, I don't think I forgot anything, but that's all I can think of. So without further ado, maybe I'll turn it over to you, Kevin and Stephanie.
Thank you. 1 second here. I just have to share my screen. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. So let's make sure I've got this share. Okay, so can everyone see the PowerPoint okay? Steph, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we're going to talk a bit about the learning platforms at Bcit. Now, what has happened is obviously the first one is that you guys have figured out Zoom since you're all here today. So Bcit uses a multiple of platforms, and one of the questions that often comes up is which platforms do I use and for what purpose? So I'm going to walk you through some of the basics about Bcit. I'm going to talk to you also about some of the other types of tools that students use. Stephanie is going to introduce to you a new student-based platform that was developed this year, in particular response to COVID. And so let's take it from there. And my screen's, oh, there we go. Okay, so the main platforms you're going to see at Bcit, we have the portal called My Bcit, and we have the portal called the Learning Hub, and you will often hear it referred to as D2L because that was its old name. We have the Spot at Bcit Spot. We have the timetables portal, and there are a variety of publisher-based platforms that instructors will be using. So, and what are they for? My Bcit, this is where you go to check your grades, check your account balance, make sure you're registered, all the official stuff with being a student at Bcit. This is also your official Bcit email. So every student at Bcit gets an email address, and it's your name at my.bcit.ca. You can also find some information about your courses when you get on. I will show you a little bit about my Bcit when we get to it. One of the things is my Bcit used to be our only learning platform. So it still has some legacy options that were meant to help with courses that have been migrated over to the Learning Hub. The other portal we have, which is important, especially during this academic year, is the School of Business and Media timetable site. It will have all of the schedule for any on-campus or online meeting times, schedules. It is what we've used normally when we were having our traditional on-campus education. This one's been modified to reflect the fact that we will be doing a lot of virtual lectures, online chats. So that is a site that you can check on to see how your week is planned out. Then we have the Learning Hub. And the Learning Hub is going to be the place you're most likely to go and most often to go. When you go to the Learning Hub, you will see your course information. This is where instructors will be posting lecture notes and slides. Courses that have virtual lectures will be doing it through the Learning Hub. The Learning Hub is also a place where we can do online quizzes and exams. It has the ability to hand in assignments and for you to go and see what assignments and their due dates. It has discussion rooms or chat rooms that the instructors will set up. And it's at learn.bcit.ca. Then there is the Spot. And this is a student-only communication tool. It's going to allow you to connect with people in your program, in your classes, throughout the other members of the School of Business that are students. It's a collaboration tool to work with teams, and Bcit, even in the COVID world, we are still hands-on and all about teamwork. It also will give you access to other activities such as the Bcit clubs, of which we're famous for. And the best part about the Spot is there will be no teachers on it. This is a student-only tool, okay? Now, for the Learning Hub and my Bcit, you can get to it through the Bcit School of Business homepage. On the top of almost every Bcit web page, you will see the Learning Hub and My Bcit at the top of each page. Okay. Now, if you choose to go to My Bcit, you will get the registration page that looks like this. And I'm assuming most of you have already been on there and logged in to get your basic course information and check your tuition and so on. Okay, so once you've logged into My Bcit, you will land on the home page. Everyone's will look a little different. Mine looks like this. Primarily, you will be looking, and there'll be information, and you'll see tabs across the top that says Campus Life, My Courses, My Stuff, Student Resources, Teaching and Staff Resources are on mine, but I can't be sure they're probably not on yours. But the big area that you're going to want to use is on the far right-hand side, which is the Bcit online self-service. And this is where you get most of your information, everything from checking grades, ordering transcripts, tax receipts for tuition. And in here is also where you'll find your My Bcit email box. Okay. Now you will see in here that it will also tell you that you can check for your schedule. Please use the Bcit School of Business website That's the most up-to-date one, and that's the one we use to address. And there's going to be some confusion around timetables. Please check with your program, and they will give you, make sure you're on the right link, because we've had to reschedule everything under the COVID world. Okay. Now, the Learning Hub. When you go to the Learning Hub, it will land on a page such as this. You will see that you're in the Learning Hub. It'll have your name, and down you will see tiles. And the tiles will have your course, the course name, it'll have the course number, and there will be a 5-digit number that we call the course reference number. And this is something used by Bcit to track everything. From your purposes, all you have to do is find your tiles and click in the tiles, and that is where you will find information about your courses. Now, if you notice along the top, there is above the tiles, it says Spring, Summer 2020, 2010 Winter, 2020 Ongoing, 2030 Fall, and the one that I'm showing you right now is 2030 Fall. So when you're in the Learning Hub, you want to be in the 2030 Fall. That's basically Bcit code, the fall of 2020. However, the Ongoing tab is where you can find ongoing resources. So it's good to explore and look around inside the Learning Hub. And if we just, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second. Do I get that back up?
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. There's just a question that it's not related to what you're talking about, but we might want to answer because it's been a while and I don't know the complete answer.
Okay.
The student is wondering if the school is going to be open for students that want to do school. Is Bcit open to students who want to come and do school work? I know the library will be closed, right? And computer labs are not open, but can students just come on campus and do some work and access Wi-Fi and so on?
There will be some limited access. Hang on, I'm just going to switch. You have to check. It's going to be at a what I call a program by program basis. So let me just share the screen again. So you have to check and see. There will be some access to campus, but essentially Bcit, for the most part, most of the buildings will be closed. As we progress through the fall, we will be able to see there'll be updates coming from the Institute regularly on what is open, what is restricted. It will also depend on which program you're in. Program heads and department areas will be getting updates and be able to guide them. As of now, just general access to the campus is not available.
Okay.
Okay, so wandering on right now is no. So can everyone see my?
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone can see my Learning Hub screen now? Yeah. So in here, like I said, there is the tabs. I can go and look forward and see what my courses are in, or last winter. This is fall, this is the ongoing. And in here is where you frequently find things. For example, we have, because I'm faculty, I have my School of Business COVID-19 teaching resources. There is the Student Information Exchange. Different program areas will have posted different ongoing Learning Hub groups. Most of the Learning Hub, when you go in, so go back to the fall. So my Econ 8500, which is Managerial Economics, is a course that just runs for the fall. So this tab is here just for the fall. If I want ongoing, I can go over here. When you click inside any of these, you will find that this one is simply actually an entrance exam. Here you will find your course content, and you can click and your instructors will be populating the table of contents throughout the term. So it's important that once you go into the Learning Hub and you've gone and looked at one of your courses, you continuously go in and check to make sure that you've seen the latest updates. So, for example, if I go back, it's a little slow, winter 2010. So of course, I fire this up. Just give it a second. There we go.
Kevin, can I jump in? There's just another question. A student,
Sure.
Somebody's wondering, what does it mean when tiles under 20-20-30 fall are grayed out? Does that mean they don't have access to them quite yet?
Yes.
Or?
Okay. That means that the course is, you're in the class, but the class has not yet started. So on the start date, that tile will become live. Okay. You may find that some of your instructors will have turned the tiles on earlier once they've populated with material. So what you'll see is many of them will look something like this class. This is the Opman 7701. And you will see there's a series of announcements that have been put in. And be sure, as the course goes on, more and more content is being added. And not all of it will be immediately visible. So be sure to take the time to explore and see what has been put in there. And you'll see that multiple announcements have been put in. So that is my Bcit Learning Hub. This is this should take me into my Bcit. Now mine will also be a little different because I'm logging in as faculty, but you will see that you have your Bcit home. If you click here, you will see this will give you a list of the courses that you are officially registered in. And this is also an alternative way where you can, man, it's slow today. Glad I used PowerPoint. Yeah, it's still loading. So in my, there we go. So you will see a list of courses. Here you can find who your instructors are, and you can click to send an email to your instructors. Again, like I said, most of what we do in My Bcit nowadays is, one, you check your My Bcit email, or you go over under your student self-serve, and this will tell you all the various pieces of information you need, including communications from the Institute. You'll have letters sent to you, your transcripts to get unofficial and official transcripts, your UPass, as well as the nasty part about fees and receipts and everything like that. Okay. So those are the two biggest tools. So the Learning Hub and My Bcit are the primary platforms that are used, that we use at Bcit, mainly by your teachers and by you. At this point, I am going to stop sharing the screen and turn it over to Stephanie to talk about, I see there's another question. So we'll be able to buy our books, or will everything be online? That is something I cannot answer. Most of the books have gone to ebooks, but that is something that is actually a function of the publisher and the author, as well as Bcit. So not all books, depending on the course, will be converted to online. So that's something I can't say that we're having 100% online.
Yeah,
Timetables
Kevin,
will be available.
Kevin.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just gonna add that the bookstore will be open, or you can order online if you need a hard textbook, or many of the textbook will be ebooks, and your instructor should send you a welcome email a week or two ahead of your class to let you know about your textbook.
Okay. So
There's a
Timetables will be
question.
available later in the week. Hopefully, we'll have it up, finalized and running. There will be, please watch, there's going to be a series of package of announcements coming out from the Dean's office near the end of the week, which will have some important updates, including some key links for things like timetables, as well as other important information. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to give it over to Stephanie to tell us a bit about the new platform, The Spot.
Great. So basically, the team and I have been working on a new platform for student communication. So typically in the programs at Bcit, it really helps being in classes with the same group of people from class to class, which is called your set. And you're able to work with all of your fellow classmates on not only overall course problems and issues and communicate with one another and receive advice and information and help, but also on your group projects. So one of the things that makes Bcit so great is that you spend so much time working on group projects, which really prepares you for the real world. And in light of that, we wanted to design a communication platform in lieu of being in classes with one another and being able to communicate that way, that you would be able to take all of your communication for group projects and other things online. So I have a little bit of a promotional video that I'll show you now. Kevin, give me a shout if you can't hear the video.
Okay.
The Spot is your virtual campus, a hub for communication and collaboration for students only. You're able to network and stay connected with classmates in your set, program, and across the school. Your student network. Welcome to The Spot.
So essentially that promo kind of says it all. We designed this platform in a way that you'd be able to ask your classmates questions in classes and also in individual teams. You can also send photos and files and things like that. So you're able to collaborate on group projects. In the past, a lot of students have used things like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger in order to do all this communication with their classmates. But we wanted to make it really easy for everyone because you can't meet in class and exchange information. We have all of your classmates in your sets all set up on the spot, which is what this platform is called, all ready to go for you. And yeah, I think that's basically everything for the Spot.
Mobile app.
Yeah, so it's you have access to this on your laptop or on your mobile, both things, on computers. It's available basically anywhere. You sign in through your My Bcit email, and you'll get an email with a bunch of information of like how to use different things on the app and how to communicate with people, how to log in, how to get set up. And then this will be a great opportunity for you to reach out with students in your program and in your set and in your project teams, but also there will be users on there like the School of Business and Media will have a presence and they'll be able to share things on your home feed like upcoming events or just different campus-wide notifications, as well as all the clubs have a presence on the app as well. And that's a great way to get involved and do some extracurriculars, even though I know this semester will probably be a little overwhelming because everything is online. Doing extracurriculars really sets you apart and it really adds to the Bcit experience. I've actually studied a few different programs at Bcit and the highlight of all of my programs have been my extracurriculars and adding that to my education. So I highly recommend reaching out to some clubs and seeing how you can get involved as well. Yeah. Are there any questions about the Spot?
Let's
No?
see.
Then Kevin, I'll pass it back to you maybe.
Okay.
Stephanie, is the Spot, sorry, I do have a question. Is the Spot ready to go now? Like,
Yeah, so it's live. In time, we'll be sending out a series of emails as well that will include information about how to log in. And right now we're setting up everyone's sets and programs so that it'll be ready for them when they all join. But it is live and ready to go. We're just getting it set for all the students right now.
Kevin, do you want to talk about the set system a little bit? Like, did we talk
Actually,
about it? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen again. And
there are a few questions, Stephanie. How do you log into the spot?
That's a good question. It will be through your My Bcit email, but all of this will be sent out later. So right now we're still working out the most seamless way for students to get their account set up, because not only are you going to be added automatically into your set, so you have access to all of your classmates right away, but we also wanted to set it up so that you can include things like personal information and maybe your social media links and things like that. So we're still working out the most seamless way to add all of you.
How can I download it? I guess that's same thing here. So
it's on the App Store and whatever the alternative to Apple is.
Google Play, I think.
Yeah. Android. So yeah, it's already been launched and it can be found in the App Store. It will download and we should have the site. The site is up. It's bcitspot.ca.
But we'll be sending out an email with all the information of how to log in and how to access all the resources on it. So don't stress. You can try downloading it now, but don't stress about not being able to log in quite yet, because it's coming.
Yeah.
I must say, Stephanie, isn't this the first time you talk about the spot to students?
Yeah.
This is kind of your big launch, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
After months and months of work. So I just wanted to personally congratulate you with all the work that you've done on the spot, and I'm really looking forward to hearing. I know I won't have access to it, unfortunately. It will be secret from me and you, Kevin, but I really look forward to getting feedback from students on how the spot works. So again, you've heard it first, people that are here. So this is a big launch. So again, congratulations for all your work, and look forward to seeing how it goes.
So when we came together with the spot concept, it was to have a place where students can interact with students, because at Bcit, you form teams and cohorts, or what we call sets. And it's an important part of the dynamic at Bcit, and we wanted you to have that in a virtual context. One of the key things about that is it had to belong to you. As such, only students from Bcit can be members of the spot. There won't be any third parties. There won't be any trolls. There won't be any advertising. And there won't be any teachers. And I know because Stephanie won't give me an account. So I have to go completely by what they're telling me. So they're strict about no teachers on the spot. The spot is for you guys. Now I'm going to...
Stephanie, I just wanted to say, sorry, that Matthew just said, not a question, but I'm looking forward to using the spot. So that's really exciting. That's great. Then I'm not sure, there's a question from Jeranaz who says, could you please talk about out of Canada students? And I'm not too sure, Jeranaz, what you mean by this. Is the spot going to be available to to people outside of Canada as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's just an app that's downloaded like anything else. Same with D2L, everything's access to students with your A00 number.
Okay. So Jeranaz, I'm not just sure if that's what you meant, but if you meant something else by your question, just put another question with more information there. Thank you.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to add was it is students only, except for there will be a couple profiles just for resources and information. Like the School of Business and Media will have a profile, the Student Association will have a profile, but all they have access to is to make posts, which you can choose to follow or not, and those posts will appear on your home screen. So it's just informational and helpful and things like that. Of course, those profiles won't be in your groups, and your groups are where all the students are, where you can communicate, so no faculty or staff have access to that. But there are a couple profiles there that will be run by the institution that will be just providing information.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. If it lets me.
Kevin, somebody's asking, do we already know which set we belong to?
We're going to, I'm going to have that conversation right now. So
Perfect.
let me share. So BCIT uses what's called the SET system. And a SET system is just putting all of the students in a program into cohorts or teams. So what you're looking at is the timetables website. So it's timetables at bcitsitecenter.ca is the URL right now. And we'll go to business. And we're in the fall of 2020, and you see it says programs and instructors. So if you wanted to see your instructor timetable, you can scroll down and see who your instructors are. Or let's see. And then if you're looking for your own timetables, you go to your programs. Now the program you are in will have a 4-letter prefix. So if you're in the Advanced Diploma for Business Management, that's your ADBM. If you're in the Bachelor of Business Administration degree, that's the BBAD. BCST is the Broadcast Communications. BMGT would be Business Management. If we click on that one, you will see there is a list of 4 groups, 1A, 1B, 3A, and 3B. So the 1 refers to being in level 1, that's first year, first semester. And level 3 is the fall of second year. So the program has 2 sets of first years and 2 sets of second years. So when you click on the timetable, it will show you the schedule that you will have for the fall. Okay, now, and then if you scroll down, you will be able to, you can download this timetable into your calendar on your phone, and you can print it if you need to. It has been set up so that while your semester will stay pretty much constant throughout the year, you can go through and look at it week by week. Okay. Now, going back, so when you're looking at the timetables, like I said, these represent all the different programs. The prefixes are, so when you find out the program, when you to the program you're in, if you're in Business Information Technology, you're the ITMG. If you're in Human Resource Management, HRMG. Any form of financial management, accounting, finance, financial planning, all of these are the prefixes. You will be getting more detailed information about this. All students have been assigned to their sets, and that information should be available through My Bcit. Anyway, this is your timetable site, okay? So any questions about the set system? And you will be in your set for the most part. In most programs, the set you are in is the set you'll be with through your entire program. In some programs, it changes between first and second year, but you will be in the same classes. So if you are in, I'll go up here and pick Advanced Diploma A. So every student in set A will have the same schedule, they'll have the same classes, and at the same times. One of the advantages of this is that your classmate that you're working on your marketing project with is also in your business law course. So you guys have the same constraints, same deadlines. You can work together, form study groups, and you all basically have the same plan for the fall. That's one of the upsides of the SET system. It allows us to have students be able to work together more closely and get to know your classmates and form stronger teams than, say, most universities and colleges. Okay. So,
Kevin, there's just a few questions before you. I know somebody's asking, I think you've talked about this. How do we figure out our 4-letter prefix for our program? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Do you want to show them again, maybe?
yeah, so the program prefix, the 4 letters usually tie into your program area. So if you are in broadcast, BCST is broadcast, BMGT is business management, FMGT financial management, HRMG human resource management, human resource post-diploma, HRPD, those are second year direct entry students. INTT is international business. ITMG is information technology management or business information technology management. Now, marketing, if we click on marketing, you will see that they have quite a few sets. They go from A to M. So marketing has 4 options. It has tourism, it has professional sales, has entrepreneurship, and marketing communications. Those programs will dictate which of the sets you were placed into. Okay, so if you're any one of those marketing options, you are in one of the sets A through K. Okay, now yes.
Sorry, somebody says, well, we get an email with the 4-letter prefix. I'm sorry, I was going to answer that in written. The person who, it's an anonymous attendee. Can you write in the chat which program you've been accepted in, and I can let you know.
Yeah.
And then I checked Bitman page, and I saw it changed. The new to new program. Does this change apply in all the platforms already? I don't know.
No.
No. Okay.
Everything should be fine.
Okay.
So the four letters for accounting is FMGT. When you log on to the Learning Hub, you will see all the courses that you are in, and you will have direct contact with your instructors and your program head, and you'll be able to get more detailed information for each of the programs. Okay, and they will guide you. Each program area will guide you to the timetable site and give you more specific information about particular courses. So depending on what the program, how the program has planned their fall term, will dictate what kind of activities are going on with their classes. So those are the kind of questions that are actually best answered by the program head for the area you've gone into. Okay. Now,
yeah, so Kevin, just to reiterate, there's a couple of marketing students, so they should contact their program head to know which set they're in. Okay.
Yes, and we'll be putting out. They should be putting out information about which sets they're in. Should be available through, like I said, through my Bcit or through their program area.
Okay.
Okay.
So you'll get something soon, guys. Be patient.
Yeah, it will all be coming. You will be in a set and you will have a timetable. The most important thing is that if you go onto Learning Hub and you see the courses, then those are the ones that connect you directly with your instructor. That's where you're getting your information. And when you also get on the spot, you will be automatically grouped in the set system. So you will be within the groups within the spot. You will see who are your classmates in those classes. Okay.
Just one last question. Any I can answer that one quickly. Is that okay, Kevin?
Sure.
Any ask if you can choose the set? Typically, no, but definitely reach out your area, either your your program head if you have any concerns. I mean, you are right. All the schedules are different. There's not much change though. I think there'll be challenges to all when you're outside Canada. So please contact your program head, anybody related to your program, to ask, and they'll see what they can do for you.
Okay. So in most cases, most of the programs, all of the sets are full. So program changes or switching between sets tends to be very difficult unless there's somebody that wants to switch the other way. The set sizes and the set configurations are designed around the teamwork that we do at Bcit. So we keep the set sizes balanced. So we won't increase one set at the detriment of another set, because that makes too many students on a team, which isn't good for effective learning. Okay. Now, one last thing I want to click on is, let's see, there we go. So this is an example. This is called the Pearson MyLab and Mastering site. This is a publisher created site that goes with textbooks. Many of the courses you take will have these types of platforms. Your instructors will typically send you links, or the links will be up in your learning hub. And these give you access to things like study questions, practice exams, and things like that. These are specific to the course, specific to the textbook your teacher is using. This is not a Bcit tool. Okay, it's heavily used and very popular. This one happens to be from the publishing house Pearson. There's also the McGraw-Hill produces a thing called Connect. Wiley Publishing has their platform. You will be given access to these platforms, but these are not the main Bcit platforms that we use. So the ones that we're talking about today, which is used at Bcit, is the Learning Hub, My Bcit, and the Spot. Okay. Any other questions I can answer? Okay. Yes, someone asked the question. I checked the course schedules for My Bcit and the timetable site, and they seem to be different for BGMT 1A. Is there one more accurate than the other? Yes, the one that I showed you, that is the Bcit timetables at Bcit Site Center, is the one that you should be using. Okay, that one is updated and customized to deal with going into the fall under COVID. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, over to you, Carolyn.
Hold on. Oh, so anything else, Kevin, that you would like? I'm gonna be back on here. Anything else that you would like to share with us?
Let's see. Well,
Kevin, do you want me to chat about Google Drive at all and other tools outside of Bcit?
yeah. I think that it's good to share it from the student perspective that these are tools that are used. And yeah. Okay.
I'll just say briefly a piece of advice from another student to a student. Something that all of our teams found really useful, and I think is even more useful now that all these classes will be remote, is using Google Drive. So if you're not familiar, Google Drive, you can sign up for Google Drive just through your Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, it's easy and free. All of this is kind of off the record because this is outside of Bcit, so this is more of just helpful advice. But especially with working on group projects remotely, what's really great about Google Drive is that they've set up applications like Google Docs and Google Sheets, which is basically like Excel, and you can have multiple editors live edit at the same time. So you and 3 of your classmates could all be logged onto the same Word document, which is basically Google Docs, and you could all be typing and changing things and adding information. You could all see what's happening at the same time. So what you might find helpful is to open up a Zoom call or just a conference call with one of your classmates, and to open up a Google Doc at the same time, and you'll be talking together and working together all at the same time, and you'll be able to see what everyone's working on, what everyone's adding. And as you work on your group projects, which is a key component to every class at Bcit, this might just be an easier way to kind of work together and collaborate. So that's something that I would recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as Steph said, this is not a Bcit platform. Things like Google Docs, Dropbox are phenomenally useful tools. Only thing I point that out is if something happens where you lose all your homework on Google Docs, we can't help you. Also, BCIT's official position is that we don't work with platforms that are like Google because of Canadian privacy laws. So it's your choice to use them. It's not something that we would require. We cannot require students to use something like Google Docs. If you choose to, as a group, informally use them, it's fantastic. However, if there's ever a problem, I can't troubleshoot it for you. Okay. There was one last two things, is that as what has happened under COVID is we've all become Zoom experts. There are basically two big tools that are out there that we use. The one we're using right now is Zoom. The other is Bongo. Bongo is actually the communication tool that we use inside the Learning Hub. So when we do virtual lectures, it will be in Bongo. Both of these, they're competitors. They have about the same capabilities. One may be stronger with video, the other is stronger with terms of chats and so on. They're continuously improving. You will find, however, I know many instructors will use both, one as a backup for the other. So if their Bongo account crashes on you, they may send out a Zoom invite. So be familiar with both of those. Those will be very helpful tools that you will be using probably all the time for the next year or so, whether it's to do with BCIT or just generally. Okay.
Kevin, can you share again the Learning Hub and show students where the learning virtual classroom is?
Sure.
And as you're doing that, I just wanted to share my own experience. I know for the class that I teach, I mostly use the virtual classroom in the Learning Hub, which is powered by Bongo. This is why we say Bongo. And it works really well. However, for example, I had students do virtual presentation and I use Zoom for the virtual presentation. It was just easier for that specific piece. You can download an app, make sure you have Zoom ready on all your devices. It's important that you use some functions of Zoom, and virtual classroom, for example, is difficult to access with a cell phone. It's really hard to access the group work through the virtual classroom when you have a cell phone. So you do need to have a proper computer to access all the features, I think, especially in the virtual classroom and in Learning Hub. Yeah. So go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so when you go to Learning Hub and you're inside one of your courses, in this case, I'm inside Opman 7701, and you go to activities, this is where you'll find the discussion groups. This is where your instructor will post assignments, quizzes, which will be scheduled. And here is your virtual classroom. And this is where when an instructor schedules a class, it will open up a Bongo Bongo session similar to a Zoom session. And you can see right now, I don't have any active meetings. So I'm just going to kill that. But you'll find virtual classroom under your activities. And you can scroll down and there's the virtual classroom. You'll also find that instructors will post in here, if you check under discussions and table of contents, quite often, most instructors will record their Zoom meetings or Bongo meetings and will allow you to, and then we'll post them later for you to see them. So if you miss a class, you can go into the and find a recording inside the Learning Hub, okay? One thing I would like to point out is that when you're in the Learning Hub, I would recommend not using the Learning Hub email. Use your My Bcit email. It's more reliable in getting through to your instructor. It's a little bit of a glitch we have right now that we're working on, but don't just click here. Make sure you go to My Bcit to use your full email. This may or may not 100% go through. Anything else you want me to cover on that, Carolyn?
No, I think we're good. That was useful to talk about the thank you for mentioning the email. One of the things so you can unshare if you want, but one of the things I really wanted to let attendees know is our second webinar of the series. And you can, I think Natalie gave you the link at the beginning, is all about about BYOD, so bring your own device, so what you need for devices. So you may want to go look back. We're not going to cover that today, obviously, but you may want to look back and see what's needed in terms of device for your classes. The other thing is, I think it was last week's session with Morgan, there was a lot of, and Stefan, you may want to add to this, but it was all about time management and being successful. And it talked about like organizing your space for study so that you have your own space and so on. So I don't know, Natalie, you have any tips on how to be successful online? But that session might be useful as well for a student attended today to go back and look at, because there was lots of tips from graduates and students.
And one of the things that we're hoping is, and this is where platforms like the Spot will come in very handy, is that the second year students who had to switch suddenly to online last spring and actually had to work through finishing off the semester online when the COVID-19 shut down all classes, they will be part of your network to be able to draw on as mentors and advisors for how do I deal with the challenges, because they have been through it once before. They have an idea how it works, and they can give you tips to their experiences working online. So that's one of the advantages of Spot, is it does give you access to not just your class, but all those students that are in your program, including those that are a year or two ahead of you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're kind of 5 minutes away from 6 o'clock. We can certainly answer a few more questions as we have. Stephanie, anything else to close it? I think I've asked you this already, so just jump in if there's something else. But oh, there you are.
Nothing else comes to mind, but if there's any more questions.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Kevin and Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to attend today. I think that was really useful information. Hopefully the session was helpful for everybody. Natalie, maybe I'll let you do the poll at the end here if this was useful. As I'll keep on talking, Natalie's going to give us a poll. Did you find this webinar useful? Very much, somewhat, not really, not what I expected. We definitely skipped, yeah, we added some information for sure from the description. The Spot was new, which was great. So if you want to take a minute for that. So again, thank you both Stephanie and Kevin. That was really helpful information. I was very excited to be there for the launch of the Spot. I wish I had balloons and stuff I can throw in the air to say yay. But thank you so much. And next week, maybe we can close the, can you close oh, I'll close the poll. Are the results published? I haven't seen them. Ah, there they are. Thank you. Okay, so awesome. So I'm glad this was helpful. Thank you, everybody. So for next week, for people that will be attending, we'll have a session again on the library and academic integrity with Robin Day. Robin's actually our AD for finance and accounting, and Jeff is our librarian extraordinaire, so it should be a good session. I'm going to write in the chat here if I can manage that. When you go to the welcome page, sorry, I'm just trying to put something for you, hopefully paste. Yes, so I've put that for you. It's a big long thing in the chat, but if you go to the School of Business and Media web page and new student, you can go in there and there's a list of stuff you need to do before the school starts, like taking your math assessment, taking your English communication assessment. There's going to be a certain date for that. And all the assessments are there so that we can make sure we provide you with the support you need in those areas. If you want to go look and have any questions, again, email your program head, or you can come back here and ask questions. So I think that's about it for today. Again, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Again, 2 more weeks of this, next Monday, 5 o'clock, and then one last one after that.